can take a break from the game, come back, and still get top 8. But to be top 3 on the upper side, that's pretty big. Who's he going to be going up against, though?
He's going to be going up against Ethan, another player that we've seen hit some really, really high highs. And I hope that we see consistency from Ethan this year.
Yeah.
I know that he is definitely capable of it. The fact that he's coming out of the gate, like a lot of times we see the first tournament of the year, it's a little bit rough waters for the kind of top players that we see in the scene. The offseason can be amazing. We saw it for Stingray. We're seeing it for Ethan. We're seeing it for Puggsy. But for some people, the offseason can be tough. But we're going into this game right here, Puggsy versus Ethan on Apocalypse. It's that Jala pick from Puggsy that we saw earlier today. And, of course, the Ethan classic Hattori.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that of all of the players who have been in this tournament, Puggsy and Ethan currently in the winner's side are two who didn't change up their characters at all. A lot of players, right, like the Boomies and the Sandstorms, they picked up new mains, they dropped some weapons because they didn't like how the balance changes happened. But you see Puggsy and Ethan perfectly happy with the balance changes over the offseason, and they've been sticking with their mains, and that's a huge advantage to these players.
But through that offseason, we saw the Jala pick coming out from Puggsy. But before that, nice little spot dodge. They're going to avoid that side air. Before that, we saw Puggsy coming through with like a fake pick. With the Jala pick a little bit, but also with a Hattori pick. Before that, there was some Bodvar mixed in with the Jala. So it's not necessarily been 100% devoted to Jala. As Puggsy's going to fall first in this game, you're seeing Ethan very close to death here. He has to be very careful with that lower defense, with all of that strength that Puggsy has with this Jala pick, with this Finn the Human pick, and of course, with all the kill options that Sword and definitely Axe have.
Now, you talked about how Ethan has low defense, but so does Puggsy. Coming in with his Jala pick, base 3 defense, might be one of the reasons why Puggsy got knocked out just a little bit earlier than Ethan. Granted, Puggsy's going to have the advantage of being able to put out a little bit more damage, higher DPS than Ethan will have with this Hattori.
Pugsy's still trying to find what his kill option is going to be. He goes for the D-Light recovery. It almost was like it wasn't going to be enough to kill. We're not seeing him go for that D-Light Insig on Sword consistently as much anymore. That is also a true kill option, which will get you those knockouts a little bit earlier. We won't see him going for that as much in his neutral game. Oh! Picking up rough just with those final frames of that. I don't think he got the full 4-stump on it, but man, Puggsy is significantly behind.
Yeah, Ethan still got a whole lot of damage off that bounce pass to himself into the recovery. He's got such a huge advantage here. The side signature going to finish it off, and Ethan's starting to run away with game number 1.
I think it was Foda and Taza earlier were talking about like Ethan being a very dedicated spear player, one of the few, but Ethan's Sword today, holy cow.
His Sword is on point, and that's something that we saw at the World Championship as well. Back in November of 2019, we were talking about kind of a similar talking point. Ethan, known for his spear. If there's going to be a weapon that Ethan cares about with balance, it's going to be the spear. But Ethan's Sword, it's on fire right now, and there's a lot of fire on this map.
D-Light Dare coming out. Puggsy's looking for the knockout options, finds the side air as Ethan tries to go for that really high on-stage ground pound.
I love the way Puggsy played that. He did the nair, and then he fast fell, waited to see how Ethan was going to react. You saw Ethan throw out the ground pound, and Puggsy was right in position for the side air. I love the adaptation coming up from Puggsy, recognizing the habits off of that nair.
Puggsy's got to be so careful here.
Oh, no, he fell into it.
A win in game 1 is a huge momentum swing in the favor of the victor. Big damage coming out. Huge chunks coming out from Puggsy. Almost gets the bottom side of that recovery. Ethan was just barely able to dodge through it. Side signature and the Salt Taunt to open it up. Game 1 in this top 4.
He knows he's a little bit salty. 30 damage difference between the two of them. And Puggsy was making the comeback. He was climbing that ladder. But unfortunately, Ethan did hit that side signature. And Puggsy's going to be going into game 2. But he's got a game plan now. He knows his axe was really coming alive. It's a great weapon against both the sword and spear of Ethan, and he doesn't have to deal with the fact that if he sticks to the sword of his Jala, he's going straight into a mirror match against Ethan.
Now, between these two players, there is a fair bit of history. Ethan has only lost to Puggsy in all of 2019 one single time. What? It was in the Summer Championship of 2019.
That's so long ago.
Comparatively, on the other side, we saw Puggsy lose to Ethan twice at Super Summer Slam, fully knocked out by Ethan at that. And then also at the Autumn Championship, Ethan came out victorious. So in the year of 2019, they are 3-1 in favor of Ethan in this matchup.
That is a nice advantage to Ethan. He's definitely going to be confident going into this one. I know we talked about him at the World Championship, and I asked him, how confident are you against anyone? And he said he's beaten literally everyone in the scene, maybe including Stingray at this point. And he's confident that all he has to do is beat everyone again. And
at one time, kind of both of these players had similar careers like that, where Puggsy could beat actively anyone in the scene. And a couple of years ago in like Pugsy's real heyday, before he fell off just a little bit before now coming back huge, that was kind of Pugsy's story too. Didn't have quite the meteoric rise that Ethan did. You saw the gravity cancel neutral signatures, just trying to get him up a little bit, maybe score the hit on Puggsy, but really just trying to get a little bit more distance closer to that wall is just his last ditch effort.
Yeah, kind of a hope and a prayer right there with that gravity cancel neutral signature. On the off chance Puggsy decided to overcommit, come down for a second dare, maybe could have gotten the chase dodge up off that neutral signature.
Can we talk about how that weapon spawn was just like perfectly in the spot for Ethan? You saw how, oh man!
That's trouble. That's big trouble.
Chase dodge! Oh no, Ethan!
Oh no, Ethan with the overcommit. He thought that he needed to get that double tap, the finishing hit, but unfortunately gave Puggsy the hit. It's actually interesting. Puggsy went for an exhausted recovery. That's a very rare option, especially in that position. Like usually it's like a jump dare, jump nair. But Puggsy recognizing that that recovery is going to have that circular hitbox, can hit basically anywhere, covers a lot of options from Ethan. Pretty interesting coming out from Puggsy.
Man, hitting the bottom side of that. Puggsy has a massive lead. He's keeping it going too. He is in knockout percent. There's the down air from Ethan. Just a little quick poke to send him straight down. Ethan's about halfway through this final stock. He's going to pick up that spear. Getting side-lighted away from Puggsy. Going to play around that weapon, completely zoning Puggsy out. I think there was a beautiful 3-piece or maybe a 4-piece. I think you had a 3-piece for dinner today. I had a 4-piece. So either way, Ethan just grabbed one of our dinner.
For the record.
Well, when we went to Popeyes.
Yeah. Well, either way, definitely getting a big meal from Puggsy, chunking away at Ethan. He's going to take game number 2 to put it at 1 apiece. And that's what I like. Puggsy, he made the adaptation. He recognized, you know what, Axe was what was bringing me back in game number 1. So he leaned pretty heavily on the Axe in game number 2. Granted, there was that kind of awkwardness where he got the second stock a little bit for free, kind of stole that one. But still, really smart of Puggsy to recognize, hey, what worked in game 1 probably still going to work in game 2.
And that's where something like the game 3 situation here is really interesting, because Ethan played so well in game 1 and Puggsy got something in that last game that you can't count on that.
No.
Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I'll just do that again.
Yeah. He'll just come down here. I'll hit him with an exhausted Axe recovery. Everything is going to be fine.
So going into this, Puggsy does have some confidence saying, oh, I can beat him. I just did it. But it's like, it's confidence with an asterisk.
Yeah.
You're still going to have to be very careful. Meanwhile, Ethan, after just taking a defeat, he can still go into this being like, well, that was a fluke.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen again.
I know not to overcommit off stage again. I do find it interesting, Ethan switching up the Hattori skin, getting rid of the Demon Bride. Nice patience from Ethan, trying to see how Pugsy's going to react out of that spear sidelight.
Starting off this game on Apocalypse with the spear, playing into Pugsy's sword. There's the D-Light Dare. That is the option that Puggsy wants to go with when he's just trying to go for the raw damage. D-Light Dare into that time he went for a gravity cancel downlight. He just wants that damage potential over the single damage dump. Yeah,
that's usually the damage builder for sword players. Downlight, dare, and then try to catch off the bounce. Downlight side air coming out from Ethan. Has Puggsy in the off stage. Pogo bounces him off of the main stage, but the down signature is going to kill. That did get a nice little buff in the force. Able to finish off the stock.
You know, even though it's the Apocalypse and everything is just going to hell in the background, it's oddly quiet, oddly serene. The calm before, I mean, I guess not before it because it's like during the storm, but oh, that's the storm! That's the storm! It was quiet before Ethan's storm!
Really
is he going to finish it up here? I'm so glad Ethan did that. He saved it. He saved me.
That had no conclusion, but Ethan making that work. We do see Puggsy able to hold on to the stock, but the side heavy hitting high enough, catching the feet of Puggsy, and suddenly Ethan on the cusp of a 3-stock.
How weird has it been today with games exactly like this? Oh, where it was close, and then there's a 2 or a 3 stock, very confident, and then all of a sudden there's a 2 or a 3 stock, very confident the other way. What is going on?
What was that? An N-Sig, but Puggsy was so undamaged that he didn't get launched far, so he's able to pick up into a downlight side air, chases after him, hits a ground pound because of the falling pancake that has. Oh my goodness, Ethan with the turnaround.
And there you go. That's Ethan going into that. Now, Ethan in the past, we've seen Ethan take a loss and then just completely nosedive. But that's what I want to see this year is that consistency. We saw him really step it up like towards, I think, middle to the end of last year, maybe even towards the beginning of last year. But Ethan has really stepped up, taking that Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player award and just turning that into so much more.
He definitely has in the past been a very emotional player, like you were saying. Someone who can get very big highs or very low lows, but I do like this consistency coming out of Ethan.
It's like turning lemons into lemonade, but like lemons are like chill. Lemons are great. So it's not like taking a bad thing and turning it into a good thing. It's taking a good thing and turning it into a better thing. There's got to be a saying for that, but I can't think.
Why didn't you just say lemons were a good thing though? Like lemons are chill.
Well, yeah, but when someone says like, "Oh, he's turning lemons into lemonade,"
he's
or
turning
like,
oranges into orange juice.
Oranges are gross, and orange juice also gross.
Okay,
oranges, actually,
he's turning
I
apples into apple juice.
Apples also gross.
You like what?
Apples are gross. Trust me. Don't ever eat an apple in your life.
He's turning pomegranates into pomegranate juice.
Disgusting. Pomegranate juice is disgusting.
Is there a fruit you like?
Yeah, grapes. Kiwi.
He's turning grapes into grape juice.
Banana. Yeah, but like they're both good. Like it's not one is better than the other.
Oh my gosh.
But we are going to see which player is better than the other, and it's looking like it might be Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan. Able to compose himself. Not quite as high of a high as he had in the last game, but still playing incredibly well. Puggsy not sure what to do against this oppressive sphere of Ethan.
Carrots are fire, and carrot juice is double fire.
There you think about that one?
He's turning carrots into carrot juice. There we go. Or carrots into carrot cake.
I was going to say carrot cake. Carrot cake's pretty fire. Nice downlight into the neutral signature coming out from Puggsy. I like the situations where he's using it, right? Like downlight recovery. We talked about that in, I think, game number 1 or game number 2. He uses downlight recovery when it's basically guaranteed to kill. And then downlight into the end sig when he's like, I need that little extra boost.
Yeah, but we were on Great Hall here, so if the D-Light Insig didn't kill, there's
no
way D-Light recovery wasn't going to kill.
But it's more like because D-Light Insig has a little bit more effort that you have to do into putting it, the inputs in, he'll use that as like a last-ditch effort if he really needs that damage.
Nice. Gravity cancel neutralite after the spot dodge. Oh! Puggsy! Oh my gosh!
Does that
Coming
work?
alive on the second stock!
Interesting. Puggsy hitting that side light, but Ethan a little bit low on the ledge, so it wouldn't have popped him up for a neutral air. So Puggsy, with the quick reactions, goes for the neutral signature.
D-Light Dare. The recovery is going to miss. Doesn't quite have the perfect positioning to pick up off of the down air bounce. He has a serious amount of damage onto Puggsy, so if Ethan plays this right, he doesn't even have to be a miracle. He just has to play this pretty well, and he has a great chance of evening up this game. Beautiful Dare.
That'll do it.
Grabs that one, too. That's going to take away the recovery, interrupt that from Puggsy, and we're going to be even.
Yeah, no damage put onto Puggsy. He's going to have to work for this one. Nice sidelight into the neutral air. Great unarmed coming out from Puggsy.
Ethan started off with a weapon advantage, but that nice little unarmed mix-up or matchup coming out from Puggsy, he was able to knock Ethan away and then move over to go grab the weapon spawn.
I mean, unarmed into Spear is a relatively nice matchup considering the fact that Spear doesn't have a lot of stacked options. So that kind of just worked in Pugsy's favor.
Recovery coming out from Ethan. Puggsy kind of playing around the periphery of the stage. They're both kind of trading back and forth of who's going to control the ground, who's going to play around those soft platforms. D-Light side air.
Nice recovery. Just get more damage. Keep that pressure going. Downlight. Chase dodge into the neutral signature again.
That high ceiling at Great Hall. Not Pugsy's friend right now.
Ooh. But it
well
will
done.
Lead to the KO. Puggsy taking game number 4, I believe. So that's going to put him at 2 apiece. The winner of this goes into the grand finals, guaranteed top 2.
We're going straight into the next one. Likely no character swaps from either player. There does seem like there's a good bit of thought going into the stage banning.
I think Ethan wants Apocalypse. That's the one that he did really well on in game number 3, and he'll likely leave it there. Yeah, and he's really leaving Puggsy to 3 relatively similar maps, kind of small, relatively flat maps.
Crystal Temple is probably the biggest difference because it has
with the
two
soft platforms.
Fixed soft platforms compared to Apocalypse is one single, but it moves. So going into this, Puggsy versus Ethan, game 5 on Apocalypse.
Puggsy starting off with the first tick of damage. The unarmed neutral line. Ethan finds a response.
Wait, the people watching can probably hear music, can't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought, my bad. Because, like, we can't. That's why I said it was quiet earlier. My bad, guys. I'm not stupid. I just can't hear right.
I thought you were talking about like emotionally quiet.
No, I was just like, it's all of a sudden got really quiet. I noticed how quiet it was.
Neutral light again. Ooh, neutral light coming out from Ethan.
He didn't go for anything after it. The second neutral light, he backed up.
That's very.
Oh, wow.
Just the immediate down signature from Puggsy. Recognized the whiff from Ethan.
I think he even hit with like the little backside of that.
Yeah.
It swings around just a little bit from the back, hitting that nice stacked option. Neutral signature likely wouldn't have hit. Side signature definitely wouldn't have hit.
Oh, wow. Read the dodge up on Puggsy. Ethan trying to just take this one back.
Continued that juggle, picked up the spear, tossed that away, keeping the sword. Oh, man, that was so close.
Puggsy wants to keep that pressure going, though. Downlight doesn't hit the jump for the side air.
D-light recovery still
not
not
gonna
going to knock out off the top.
That's a Jala, guy. There it is. Ethan hitting the recovery. Relatively close, not too damaged. And he's going to be sticking with this sword. Of course, there was another sword, but not sticking with a spear against the unarmed of Puggsy this time.
We've seen some really lucky weapon spawns for these players so far. We haven't seen anyone unarmed for too long. The other player really hasn't had much of an option to keep them weapon starved.
We've seen some like
picks up that
mild
nair.
weapon starving.
In comes the weapon on the right.
Ooh, dare down light coming out from Puggsy. Tries to follow up with the recovery.
Immediately shutting down that in-air pressure with the down air from Puggsy. Another down air, almost got the side air. He's searching for it. The neutral light, that's going to take it out. Puggsy with a beautiful lead here. 2 minutes into this Game 5 on Apocalypse.
And he's going to be sticking with this axe. Just the big chunking hits coming out against Ethan. Doesn't hit the downlight follow-up this time off the dare. Able to avoid the gimp potential from Ethan. Interesting option coming out from Puggsy. The side light down air, trying to keep Ethan on that corner.
Weapon toss. Man, that sent Puggsy pretty far. Just barely having enough iframes. He expected that coming. Puggsy had the beautiful timing on that side air, bouncing off the wall. Puggsy maybe wanting to end it right here. There's the recovery. Ethan still just barely in the orange. That is going to clean it up. Squeaky clean on that. Almost sounded like Roddy Ricch in the beginning of the box. Real squeaky here.
So clean. Puggsy going to go into the grand finals of this one.
When's the last time? We didn't say that at all during 2019,
No, that's not
we?
a 2019 statement.
No way.
Puggsy, I mean, he's like we said, he's a great player, but to make it to top 2, that was not expected, especially to start off 2020. This is great going for Puggsy, and he is now going to have to wait to see who his opponent is going to be. Could potentially be the newcomer Stingray, the up-and-comer, or Pugsyxd, or Ethan.